This afternoon. We are just 3 days away from that bumper pack show at the O2 Arena on Saturday night. We cannot wait. But today, it is all about the public workouts. And here to cast their beady eye over all the action is Matt Macklin, Johnny Nelson. We really are in for a treat on Saturday night. Our co-main event, Regis Prograis against Josh Taylor. Two unbeaten southpaws. It's 1 versus 2 seed in the world. It's a case of who's going to come out on top.
You know, and first of all, the setting, I think it's a good way to start the week off here at Spitalfields Market so the fans can get involved. The fans can have a nose at what's to come Saturday night, and I think especially with the main fighters, I think these guys, the fans will be able to get an atmosphere of how spiteful they can be. I think now fans are going to start to get a bit emotional with these fighters.
And of course we have a mouth-watering clash, don't we, in the form of Dereck Chisora and David Price. What is that going to come down to?
Well, Dereck Chisora is never in a bad fight, is he? And,
No.
and I mean, some of the performances put on recently just defies the odds at this stage of his career and this stage of his life, to still being able to go to the well and dig deep and find something when you think at this stage of his career he should be, you know, over the hill. But you know, and then David Price, you know, he's coming off actually bouncing into this fight with really good momentum. That win against Dave Allen, so his confidence is really good. He took it at short notice, but I think he was in the gym anyway. So yeah, interesting fight.
I know, we'll be seeing them in the ring a little later on, but now it's time to get our undercard action underway. With the fighters coming to the ring, let's hand you over to MC David Diamante for the proceedings.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to Spitalfields Market here in London, England, for the open workout for Saturday night's incredible night of boxing action taking place at the O2 Arena. Now, all the action is brought to you courtesy of Mr. Eddie Hearn of Matchroom Boxing. All the action will be broadcast live around the world on Sky Sports Box Office and DAZN. Ladies and gentlemen, on tap, one of the most anticipated fight cards of the year. 9 fights, 5 title fights, and at the top of the bill, a unification fight. Super lightweight unification, IBF, WBA, Regis Prograis v. Josh Taylor. So let's go ahead and start this open workout. Right now we got a 4-round middleweight contest. We're going to go ahead and bring in the young gentleman who'll be fighting in that contest, 11 stone, 8-pound limit, 160 pounds. He's one of the top young prospects in professional boxing right now. He's a middleweight fighting out of Houston, Texas. Ladies and gentlemen, 3-0, all 3 wins thus far coming by way of knockout. Please welcome Austin Ammo Williams. And he's with his trainer, Dwight Pratchett.
Matt, we talk about fighters that have got a bit of buzz around them, and Austin Williams is certainly one of them. 3-0, 3 wins by way of knockout. A lot to like about him so far.
Yeah, well, we met him up in Newcastle at the weekend. Eddie Hearn giving him the big treatment up there. So winding
You
and
always
dining
know
him.
when he's excited about someone, don't you? When he rolls out the red carpet, gets taken for dinner.
Yeah, he's been on the private jet, so he's got good hopes for him. Eddie speaks highly of him. You know, he's only been boxing a relatively short period of time, 4 years. He had 48 amateur fights in. That's quite an active. He was pretty busy, 12 fights a year. I imagine he boxed in a couple of multi-national tournaments. 3-0 now as a pro, undefeated, but a lot of people are excited about him. They're saying he's creating a big buzz. He's over here sparring with Regis Prograis, so he's certainly aligning himself with the right people.
Yeah, he's a southpaw, obviously been brought in for Prograis camp because Josh Taylor's a southpaw as well. But what kind of experience, Johnny, would he get from that?
You can see him, he's engrossed himself in the game straight away, walks in the Arsenal kit. Apparently he's wearing that because Ali boxed at Highbury. He's looking at the history of the sport. But this young man, look at the balance of him, look at how he moves around the ring. Very natural, very it's young, it's sharp. I know he's in the early stages of his career, but if he's been brought over to be one of the chief sparring partners come fight week for Prograis, there must be something about him. Speed, pace, youth. Because you wouldn't bring anybody over in such an important fight so close, and this, you know, spend a lot of time on this kid. So all of a sudden, we might be looking at another potential future star as well.
And as Matt just said, he hasn't been boxing that long. He's 23 now. He started boxing at 19. relatively not had that much experience to be brought over for such a big fight.
You know what? Ignorance is bliss.
Yeah.
And this man is coming in wide-eyed, loving the sport, and that's good, especially at this stage of his career. To say he's 19 years old, I think what Anthony Joshua started boxing at 18 years old, and look what he achieved. So some guys are naturally good fighters, can naturally fight, but they just didn't find their corner. I think he did basketball before that. So now, at this age, coming through and with all the hullabaloo around him, I don't think it's placed wrong. I don't think it's placed wrong. I think this kid potentially, looking at him, I like the bounce, I like the movement, I like the attitude. I like what I see so far.
And at 23, he's already pretty used to the big stage. We saw him on the AJ Ruiz undercard, so he's been there. He's used to the big stage.
Yeah, and he's very fresh. He won't have miles on the clock. He's he's getting experience. He's learning on the job as well as he goes. So he's very athletic. You can see that. And Johnny mentioned there, he was very good at basketball. So he's naturally athletic anyway. Now he's going to get the experience. He's going to get the sparring, like you say. He's aligning himself with the right company. Sparring with Regis Prograis, he'll learn a lot from that. He's on the undercard of these big shows, and it's all a work in progress. It's all part of his development.
He seems to be taking it all in his stride as well, doesn't he?
I like him. I do like. I don't know what it is. I like his attitude. I think he's enjoying being here. Sees the camera, starts shadowboxing in front of the camera, talking to the press. Very relaxed in this environment. A lot of youngsters.
But that's quite unusual,
exactly.
Isn't it?
A lot of youngsters, they kind of freeze under their headlights or try a little bit too hard. He seems very relaxed talking to us, talking to the press.
Yeah, the people he's actually
doing.
talking to now. I don't know if you can see that on your screen, but it is all the press taking pictures of him. He's having some jokes with them, relaxed, soaking it all up, Matt.
Yeah, well, his job is to fight. It's Eddie Hearn's job to promote him, and he's getting the promotion. He's getting the big treatment. See him hitting the pads here now. This is where he goes to work, him and his trainer. But he looks quite sharp. I know it's fight week. You'd expect him to look sharp, but he's got as Johnny mentioned, good balance there, good stance, footwork.
Can you imagine fighting something like this in your early stage of your career? This kid, he looks sharp, looks snappy. He doesn't look amateurish at all. So you can imagine getting in with somebody at this stage, the early stage of your career.
This is a real exciting phase of your career. You're 3-0, you're on a big promotion like this, media workout, loads of people around, media here, cameras. This is what it's all about. And he's at that stage where everything is really exciting for him now, but he's and he'll be keen to put on. I remember the first few fights, you're so keen to impress. You want everyone going home talking about you.
But sometimes that can be detrimental.
You can try too hard.
Yeah.
You can try too hard, but he doesn't seem that type of character. He seems pretty relaxed.
Yeah, I think
smiling. I think he's got it good.
Yeah, it's very natural with this young man. He's not trying too hard at all. I think he's one of those kids that wants to show off.
What do you want to see from him on Saturday, Johnny?
I want to see what he's got. I want to see how fast he is, how sharp he is, how confident he is, how he controls the opponent, how much of a snap he's got. And if he's struggling with somebody at this stage, I want to see how he navigates his way through to the win. Yeah.
I mean, he's 23 years old. It's only his fourth professional fight. He's only been boxing 4 years, so I'd imagine it's a slower job in building this guy, development. It's not someone who's had, like, for example, top of the bill, Josh Taylor.
I like him.
Yeah.
I like this kid. I don't know what it is about him. There's something about him. I do like him.
You get this guy, Josh Taylor, probably a couple hundred amateur fights, massive amateur pedigree. That's not the case here. He only had 48 amateur fights, only boxing 4 years. So I don't think there's going to be any rush in developing this guy. So, just go out there, put a show on, get some rounds, get the win, obviously. And, it's a slower job for him, I think.
As we said, he's been over here with the Prograis team. They've been over here, 3 weeks already? And similar to Austin Williams there, Regis has that kind of calm, cool, relaxed, and so cool.
Self-belief. It's about self-belief, and that is more than anything, because you can be physically fit, but mentally, if you're not right, not with it, that affects everything.
Well, here we can see Shannon Courtney in the ring. Another opportunity for her on Saturday night. She looks to move on to 4-0 if she can and get the win on Saturday night. It's been a bit of a break since we last saw Shannon out.
Yes, it is, but you know what, she's in the early stage of her career. So she's now got to learn as much as possible before the stakes become a little higher, a little sharper. So it's about getting her opponents all shapes and sizes. People that make it awkward for her, people that are tough, tall, short, stocky, strong, attacking fighters. So it's got to be, she's got to be an all-rounder in regards to what she comes against, because eventually you've got to make sure every fight means something where you're learning something.
There's also been a late change of opponent for Shannon as well. She was due to fight Melissa Habram, but now she's going to be fighting Jasmina Nad from Serbia. She's won 11, lost 22, but
wow,
she's never been stopped.
Well, I think we'll get some rounds then, and that's what Shannon Courtney needs. She needs rounds. She's still very much a work in progress, still learning, still developing. She's in a really good stable there with Adam Booth, and I know that it's a close-knit group. Michael Conlon's part of that camp as well. But so she's, you can see she's very teachable, because you can see she's the style already imprinted on her, and she's, you know, throwing the shots, making sure she rolls out after she finishes punching. So you can see the Adam Booth influence in her. And you know, she's got a personality as well. She's quite present on social media, so it's yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing her fight. I think we'll get some rounds, and I'm sure she wants to put on a show.
Very eager as well. Very eager to move on.
Yeah, women's boxing, you know, it's very open for a star to shine through. You have Shields, you have Taylor. And there's always space for somebody new, and it's not just about boxing ability, it's about character. It's about creating something where you've got a massive fan base. Let's see if she can create a momentum where her fan base grows, and the public are attracted to her style and her personality.
One of the hard things though, Matt, is finding Shannon opponents to bring her on in the time frame that she wants to move on.
Yeah, you've got to get it right, because you don't want to throw her in the deep end. She's still very much developing. She's not nowhere near the finished article, so you don't want to throw her in the deep end too soon. It's bit by bit, and you don't have that many opponents to choose from. We've seen it the weekend. Savannah Marshall, there's something like 20. There's only 20 odd super middleweights in women's boxing. So if you if someone pulls out, it's not like you're spoiled for choice of different people to get in. It's at a replacement. So yeah, it's important that she's. The most important thing is she's getting ring time, she's getting exposure, she's going to get rounds, and she's improving and developing all the time.
She is a brilliant advert as well, Johnny, for women's boxing.
And without a doubt, I do. You know, she's done everything right.
Her backstory as well. I mean, she'd admit herself, she was overweight, going down the wrong road, smoking, drinking, and went into a boxing gym and basically fell in love with the sport, lost all the weight, and here she is now. I mean, turned her life around.
You know what? Same story, different actors. Every fighter that falls into our game, you know, some people know they can fight from the age of 4, and that's all their love is. And then some people trip into our sport and think, you know, I actually like this. She had that turning point, and part of losing weight, stopping smoking, and starting to box, and having a bit of self-preservation and self-pride. I think that's driven on as well, and she's getting great results. She started 2 years ago.
She's pretty snappy as well.
Yeah, I like the way she's shaping up here. She looks sharp, and looks like particularly that short little left hook that she's finishing the combinations on. Bit of spite in that. Yeah, I think she's doing everything right, and there's no. I don't think you could pick any faults in her career so far. She's aligning herself with the right people. She's making the right connections. She's getting some good exposure. She's got quite a big profile for what she's done in boxing so far, and she's with the right people, and they're all speaking well of her. So I think she's doing the right things.
It's about the commitment as well. Commitment to the game itself. Commitment to training and dieting and lifestyle. And she's showing that commitment at this stage.
And like you say, Matt, at the start, she'll be looking to get some rounds in. At her last outing, I think it was June, Sepatoska she faced, didn't really give her any of that.
No, but we'll get it now. And sometimes it's about variety. When you have a few early knockouts, you want to get some rounds. When you've had a few rounds, you want to score an early knockout. You always, want the opposite.
You can't win, can you?
You can't win. So she's. But rounds are always good in your development. When you want, listen, we all love as fighters to go out there and get the early knockouts. But actually, when you're developing, you're learning. Rounds are crucial. They really are key.
Well, Shannon is, of course, a swing fighter as well, and with that goes, you've got to ride the wave of being a swing fighter, Johnny.
It's one of the experiences you've got to go through our game. Sometimes if you're a swing fighter, you've just got to be prepared to fight whenever. Sometimes you're going to fight short notice. You've got a week to get in the ring, and these are all part of things that make you the fully fledged fighter.
Are those feelings heightened when you're a swing fighter on something like a pay-per-view card? Because you know it's an even bigger opportunity, an even bigger stage that you might have that chance to get on impressing.
I was the swing back twice in my career. Once it worked out absolutely brilliant, and once it did not. After the Hatton McGee, I was warming up from 7 o'clock. I was on 3 times, didn't go on until after the main event. I've been in the changing room for about 6 hours. I was starving, the snap had gone out of me, and I just wanted to get in and get out. But the other time it worked out perfect. I came on just before the main event, and it was absolutely banging.
All right, well, let's hear from Shannon now. She's with Andy Scott.
Shannon, great to see you. Professional boxing, eh? What's it like? You're in with a different opponent than you were 24 hours ago. Jasmine Nad, she's never been stopped. In her previous 7 fights, she's beaten 4 undefeated fighters. How does that sound? A tougher test than you were originally scheduled for?
To be honest with you, this is the first I've heard of it.
Sorry to be the bearer of bad news.
Listen, I don't mind who I'm in with. I'm ready. I feel good. I feel strong. Expect me to make another statement, and I don't mind who I've got, to be honest.
What is the ideal scenario for you? What are you looking to achieve? What improvements do you want to make from your last performance?
Obviously, my last performance, the girl got changed last minute and she wasn't the best of opponent. So even though I got her out of there, people were like complaining about the opponent. So I'm glad I got to step up just to improve, to look better, to keep looking good. Not go out there looking for a knockout, because that's when you make mistakes. Just keep doing what I'm doing, keep impressing and enjoy myself.
You're a live float, and people that don't know what that means, you haven't got a guaranteed time slot. You could be on early, you could be on late. The opportunity, though, to box potentially in front of a packed O2 is once in a career for some people.
Yep. It's mad. I put on Twitter yesterday, I had my debut in March. I'm about to box for the 4th time in, 7 months, the 2nd time at the O2. It's a little bit crazy, but I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah, you look like you're enjoying it anyway. You're smiling.
Yeah, no, I'm loving life.
Brilliant. Wish you all the best.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the open workout continues. Right now, 10 rounds for the WBA Continental Welterweight Championship. Introducing into the ring, the defending champion, undefeated, 15-0, 10 big wins coming by way of knockout, ranked number 10 in the world by the WBA. Ladies and gentlemen, fighting out of Ilford, please welcome Connor, the Destroyer, Ben.
Very much looking forward to seeing Conor Byrne back in action. Just going back to Shannon there's nothing like Andy Scott delivering the news, is it, of your new opponent?
You know what? Look, her attitude was, you know what? I just got to fight. I don't care who's in with me. So good on her.
Looked a bit shocked though. It was great to see. Yeah, Conor Byrne, another opportunity for him. Last time out, he completely blew us away, didn't he, against Cavoila?
And I love watching Conor Byrne fight. People pick holes and say, oh, you know, try and compare him to his dad, or they say that he's got fragilities or vulnerabilities, but that's what makes him so exciting. His dad Nigel got hurt many, many times, always came back, huge heart. Didn't mean he never got hurt, but Conor Byrne as well at 23 years old, having almost, I think it was only 20 amateur fights he had over in Australia. So, you know, I don't know how good Conor Byrne could be. What I do know is I love watching him fight.
He's an exciting fighter to watch, Johnny.
Conor walked in. He's one of my... I've got a soft spot for this kid because his attitude, everything about him, he doesn't have to fight, number one. So any criticism he's had, he's just taking it on the chin. I saw him walk in and I said, you know what, I'm laughing at you and your old man sparring. He said, times are good. We're not arguing as much. He actually feels really good sparring with my old man.
They're not arguing because the aggression's been taken out of the ring.
That's what I'm saying. And they get in there and spar with each other. He said, I'm actually learning, and it's something I never thought would happen. I'm not happy with what he's doing, but I'm supporting what he's doing. And so his dad's supporting him, he's supporting his dad, but he knows he's his own man. He's concentrating on his own business. I like everything about him. Attitude, he's probably one of the guys that have got, that so many people like him in our sport, and you want to see him do well.
Also, you know, Anna, when we're judging and we're analysing, scrutinising someone's performance or who they're fighting or where they're at in their career, you know, you can't compare someone like Conor Byrne, who had only 20 amateur fights over in Australia, to someone, you know, who's had 200 or 300 amateur fights and been an Olympian and been all through these. You know, the rate of improvement for them, you know, where they can, how much better they can get, we don't really know.
You're learning on the job, aren't you?
He's learning on the job. He's very much a work in progress. A lot of these guys that have had 200 or 300 amateur fights. They're going to improve and they're going to get a bit more experience, they're going to mature a little bit more, but probably not that much. They're just going to make the transition. He could become a completely different fighter in 2 or 3 years' time.
And as well, if you're Conor Benn, you're learning on the job, but you're also under a bit more of a microscope, aren't you, because of the name?
Without a doubt, everyone's always going to compare and everyone's looking to over-analyse your performance. He's brand new in boxing. You know, he's like you say, 20 amateur fights. He's in Tony Simm's gym. He's sparring with a lot of good people. You know, he's already been down in his career. He's passed that test. He's shown he's got the heart and the guts.
Well, every time he's had a layoff, he comes back stronger. He uses that time to rebuild, go back to basics, and come back even stronger.
He wants to learn. He wants to look in the mirror. He wants to see where he went wrong, and he wants to improve. He knows he's nowhere near the finished article. He knows he's got a long, long way to go. But my point is, I suppose, there's no rush with this guy. He's 23 years old. He only had 20 amateur fights. He's very fresh. He's 3 years off being where his prime or his peak, at least.
He's also had a late change of opponent to deal with as well. He was due to fight Laszlo Toth, but he's now going to be fighting Steve Jamoy. Just a part and parcel of being a fighter, having to deal and cope with these late change of opponents.
Jamoy's coming in after a good win out in France. I think he'll beat an unbeaten fighter 17-0, and Conor has taken this in his stride. Every fight's a development, and you mentioned earlier, every time he's had a layoff, he's come back and improved on a certain aspect of his game, a certain aspect of his fight. So he did it. It's not a given. He knows he'll always be criticised, he'll always be scrutinised, but that's our sport, that's how it is. He doesn't take it personally, he just gets on with the job. Again, he's one of those people which it's very hard to understand why you're doing this, because he doesn't need to do it. Just like his old man doesn't need to do it. So he wants to fight, it's ingrained in him. And so when that times are hard when you're in a fight, he'll be able to dig in and dig deep.
Before the fight against Koivula last time out, York Hall and Bethnal Green, that was back in June. Do you remember before the fight, Matt, he said he didn't know which Conor Benn we were going to get, whether it's going to be the explosive Conor Benn or whether it's going to be Conor Benn that's going to come out and box. What do you think he will do on Saturday?
I think he'll try and start to box, but he can get dragged into a fight, can't he, Conor Benn?
Yeah.
It's not too difficult to drag him into a fight, so I think we could probably see a bit of both. I'm sure he will come out with the best of intentions to try and be technical and tactical and get his jab going and box, but I think I said in June, what's in the cat is in the kitten, and you can't put in what God left out.
It's a good phrase, isn't it?
You're good.
Is that one of your own?
I think I made that up, but anyway, it's he's you can't put in what God left out. He's got the raw materials, he's got the heart, he's got the guts, he's got the fighting instinct, and he's got the power, he's got the explosiveness. Technical ability, skills, tactics, that stuff can be taught. That takes time, it takes development. But he has time, he's 23 years old, and I don't think Conor Benn will be anywhere near his peak for at least another 3 years. So it's very much a work in progress. He's getting better each time. His profile is building, his fan base is building, and there's absolutely no need to rush this kid.
Well, the fight that everyone keeps talking about with Conor Benn is, of course, Josh Kelly.
Yeah. And Conor, they both want the fight. I seen them both. I can't remember what show it was. They're both circling like little young lions, thinking it's going to happen with me and you eventually. Conor fancies that fight because he thinks Kelly's heart can be broken. Kelly thinks he has too much skill and confidence. So you've got two cocky young guys that can see how they would beat each other. That would be a cracking fight. Would it be a fight too soon at this moment in time? Probably yes. Let's wait till something's on the line, something big's on the line before putting them together. And it's something again that can be built up, and it's history repeating itself. His dad in Michael Watson, his dad in Chris Eubanks, build them up, get the rivalry going, get something on the line, and then put them in, and that's when you see, you get the results of a cracking fight.
In Conor Benn's opponent, Steve Jamoy, comes experience, Matt. I mean, in terms of doing the rounds, Jamoy's been 10 rounds 9 times, 12 rounds once, whereas Benn's only been 10 rounds once. Could that be a factor on Saturday, do you think?
Yeah, it could always be a factor. He's more experienced, he's been the distance a lot more. But I think Conor Benn, he has been the distance as well, and he's in the gym with Tony Sims, training alongside Ricky Burns. He's sparred umpteen rounds with all these guys, so he's experienced beyond his years.
He's very mature outside the ring, isn't he? He is experienced beyond his years. He's got an older head on his shoulders.
I like him. I really do, because I think I think there's a long way for him to go. There's a lot of things he needs to work on, but I think there's no limit to how much he can improve. You know, like I say, he's still really brand new in boxing. You know, you got a guy who's had 300 amateur fights, different to a guy who's only had 20. It's a completely different job in terms of managing them, promoting them, developing them, training them, everything.
When we had Conor on the hashtag toe to toe a few months back, he said 20, if that, amateur fights.
Yeah, and over in Australia, where they don't tend to be, you know, it's a big country out there, and they don't tend to have as many. The standard doesn't normally be as high as, say, here in the UK.
It's quite a unique position he's in to have his dad Nigel coming back as well.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying earlier on. He was saying it was nice to be in the gym with his dad. It was nice to be working out with him, and we both shared a sparring partner, which I found funny. I said, "You guys are weird," and he said, "We're not arguing as much now." And I tease him for being old. He teases me for being open, and it's just nice. And what a unique experience that is, and what an inspiration, because he's got someone to work along and push him and pressure him.
On both sides.
Saturday night, defending the WBA Continental Welterweight Championship, the undefeated Conor, the Destroyer Ben.
Conor, you start our live broadcast at 7 o'clock. Just how excited, how do you feel to be back under the lights at the O2 Arena?
Yeah, it's good. I mean, definitely back at the O2. I mean, that's home for me, so it's going to be an entertaining one, that's for sure. But I mean, which Conor Ben fight isn't?
Yeah, you're one of those guys. You took the question out of my mouth, actually. You, if you could sum me up, it is excitement, but you're also very honest. You say, I can box, I can do it technically, but I want to entertain, and you're always fighting that battle. Which Conor Ben are we going to see on Saturday?
Oh, listen, it's like I've got mixed personalities. We'll find out when we get there. I don't even know. You know, we'll see what Conor Ben turns up. I mean, if he comes to try it, he's going to get knocked out, you know, like everybody else who's come to try it. And if he wants to, you know, stand off, well, then I'll take it to him. So, I mean, it's either one or the other, but, you know, I'm going to come ready. I mean, I've worked hard, I've grafted, and I think, you know, even naturally, I'm going to get stronger, fitter, better with age. I mean, I'm only just turned 23. Let's have it.
You talk about hard work in the gym. You've been sharing the gym with your father, which a few months ago would have been crazy to say. What's it been like? It's a unique experience, one that a lot of professional fighters will never have, training alongside their dad.
I mean, it's madness, but I mean, this is what we live for. I was telling my dad, I think, mate, like, you're nuts, mate. Like, you're nuts. And I said, and the worst part is, as I get older, I'm seeing more and more similarities. You know, looking for the remote and it's in my back pocket. Like, for about half hour, where's the remote? Where's the remote? Having a go at him, where's the remote? It's in my back pocket. And I'm thinking, God, we're identical. And I mean, listen, if I take on the trait of banging people out like he did, I'll be very happy.
Yeah, I was going to say, obviously copying him around the house, but does he say to you, I can see things that you're doing in your pro career? Obviously, you're very strong-minded, if you don't mind me saying, you're very much on your own journey, but has he said to you, you know, you're doing things that I did?
No, he always gives me praise for doing things better than he did. The thing is I write down my diet, I'm really dedicated. Whereas him, he burnt the candle at both ends. So, but then I say to him, but Dad, you've done everything right. I may do everything right in training, but when it comes to the fight night, you know, you turn up all the time, every single time. And even when you didn't, you still did. So, I mean, he's an unbelievable fighter, and he's nuts. But you got to be in this sport, so it is what it is.
The crowd have come out, the crowd are going to be there for you on Saturday. Just a final message for the fans, what sort of fight we can expect?
I think people know what to expect. I mean, when Conor Ben jumps in the ring, it's either going to be a ruck or someone's getting laid out. Simple as that. I mean, hopefully it ain't a ruck, and hopefully I get him out of there in the first round. You know, as my dad would say, you don't get paid for overtime, so I'll get him out of there if I can, but I'll do it in United style.
Nice one. I wish you all the best of luck.
Thank you. You're sweet. David, go.
Ladies and gentlemen, the open workout continues, and the next contest, an absolute cracker. We've got 12 rounds for the European Cruiserweight Championship. Introducing first to the ring at this time, originally from Roeselare, West Flanders in Belgium. He's now living in Sheffield, England, training out of the Ingle Gym. He's undefeated as a professional, 20-0 with 14 knockouts. He's ranked number 13 in the world by the WBO. number 12 in the world by the WBA, and number 9 in the world by the IBF. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the ring the reigning, defending, undefeated European Cruiserweight champion, Yves the Tank Ngabu.
Johnny, this is a very exciting fight. Two undefeated fighters, very hungry, looking for that win. Ngabu trains in the Ingle Gym. What do you know about him?
He's been with us for about a year. I keep saying us like I'm still boxing. He's been with us for about a year and a half. Very tough, very strong, very enthusiastic, loves his position and has fancied this fight for quite some time. And wants the opportunity. Akoli's his mandatory challenger now. Akoli's rated above him in every governing body. And for him, that's a bit of spite because he's thinking, I'm a European champion. Akoli's come off and a British champion, so he's thinking, all right, I'll shut this out. He fancied it, but he's got to stick to Akoli's chest. He's got to negate Akoli's long arms and his height, and he doesn't want to give him space. He's very good at doing that. He's brought the French fighter into the gym, tall, rangy. He's sparring with a lot of big guys as well in doing that in preparation for this game. So he'll compensate, adjust how he has to adjust. It's a tough task. It's a tough ask because it's going to be an awkward night. But remember, he is the European champion. So he's going in there saying, at the end of the day, officially, I'm above you. And so now he wants to prove it.
Physically and size-wise, he's a very different fighter for Akoli than anyone he's ever faced before because he's shorter, he's stockier. A very different opponent for Akoli.
Yeah, well, Akoli's one of those tall, skinny, but very strong fighters. They're horrible to fight. He's wiry. But, Ngabu, very strong, thick legs, solid. The tactics aren't, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to work it out.
No.
He's got to get close, and he's got to stay close to Akoli. If he stands off him and Akoli can set him up with the jab and chop those right hands down, then it's not going to be a good night for Ngabu. So it's crucial that he closes the distance and gets close to him.
I remember he comes from a gym of awkward. So when we look at Akoli, we know what awkward is. We understand awkward's a second language in that gym. So he knows exactly what to expect. Domino's very good at devising a game plan of how to shut that down. So I don't think he's going to be like any other opponent Akoli's faced. I think he's going to create problems that Akoli hasn't had before, unless Akoli gets in there quick and gets him out there. But he's very tough, very strong, and he knows what he has to do.
He's taken us a mouthful of water before he hits the pads. It's a real opportunity though for him on Saturday.
Yeah, because even though he's the European champion, he will have never boxed on a platform like this, and against an Olympian, someone in Lawrence Akoli as well, who's also undefeated British Commonwealth champion and who has a good profile. This is a chance for Ngabu to really give his career a massive shot in the arm. If he wins on Saturday night, it'll open up doors for him.
I know he's always been on a spy mission. Every time I call his sport, he's been sat there, he's been in the crowd, he's and looked at what's in front of him. He's seen and studied Akoli for quite some time. And that's an odd thing to do for a European title to be champion to be looking behind him instead of looking what's in front of him in regards to opponents. So he's no idiot, he knows exactly what to expect.
Is there a danger that Ngabu could draw Akoli into a bit of a scrap?
I think that's what Ngabu has to try and do. He doesn't want to, like I say, he needs it to be at close quarters if possible. Akoli is very rangy. We know his straight shots are his good shots, the jab, particularly that long right hand that he chops down. So Ngabu wants to try and get close, but he boxes, he's with the old Ingle style, and it's nice and relaxed and tricky, always up on your toes, angles. I think angles will be key as well.
I know you mentioned the Ingle style. It's not that kind of Ingle awkward, unfortunately, but he's one of the guys that needs to get everything right. Combinations, boxing on the front foot, boxing on the back foot, elusive when he has to be. But in this fight, he's not playing elusive. He needs to play hunter, closing down because he's in with someone that's too rangy, too tall, too spiteful a puncher, given the chance. So he needs to shut this down, sit on Akoli's chest, and make him do things he doesn't want to do.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times in boxing, people say close is safe, and against someone like Lawrence Akoli, that's really, really true, because his power is at the end of the punches. When he can set you up with that jab and he chops that right hand, that's where he carries the power. Up close, he becomes ineffective. He's not an inside fighter. He's long and he's rangy and he's wiry. But at close quarters, that's where Ngabo can have success.
You see Akoli ringside, just sizing up the opposition. This is probably the last time he's going to get up close and personal bar the weight to see what's in front of him. And this is a big shout for him to try and pick up the European title. But this champion is a champion that believes he's the best in Europe. And if that belief is to be believed, then he has to prove that come Saturday night.
Unlike the main event, that's both undefeated, two undefeated fighters, neither of them have ever tasted defeat, and that always adds a bit of spice. Someone's O has to go.
And like I said, both very hungry.
Yeah, massively hungry.
And that makes it dangerous.
Without a doubt, this is Ngabo. If he gets the win here against Akoli, who we know very well in the UK and on Sky, it opens up a lot of doors and it will really boost his profile, boost his reputation, and he'll get opportunities on the back of that.
Ngabo very good at also switch hitting as well, but from a solid stance, not from a defensive stance, which again, I know it sounds a bit technical, but if you can do that from an offensive stance, it makes you more dangerous than being in a defensive stance.
How would you deal with Ngabo, Johnny?
Keep him long, hand on it, jam on his head, let him make a mistake, try and rush him, bring the written shots up the middle, angles, don't try and box him in straight lines because that's where it's comfortable. He's shorter, so therefore he'll be fast across the ring, along the ring, but it's pop, showing the jab from the head to the body, dropping his jab down, turning it, frustrating him, take the norm away from him, so he gets frustrated. That frustration becomes confusion. Out of confusion comes mistakes.
Cruiserweight champion Yves the Tank Ngabo, defending his title Saturday night against Lawrence Akoli at the O2 Arena.
All right, well, let's see what Yves has got to say. He's with Andy Scott.
Yves, you're defending your European title here. You've done your preparation here in Sheffield. How have you found it, and how excited are you ahead of Saturday night at the O2?
Yeah, I'm very excited. This is the place to be to boxing. I'm ready. I did everything in camp. I'm ready, and I can't wait.
Do you count yourself as an honorary Ingle now? Do you count yourself as an Ingle fighter now?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
How do you feel about Lawrence Akoli standing there? He's watched all your moves. He's taller than you. He's got a longer reach. How do you beat him?
Well, I used to fight tall guys. Lawrence is a good fighter. Hope we can give a good fight to the fans. That's what it's about.
Do you believe you?
I'm ready. I hope he's gonna be ready. So let's go.
Are you going to stay around and watch him now, or have you done all your sparring?
No. I just go and go home. The rest.
Just finally then, what's your prediction? Do you believe you win this fight on points or by knockout?
I won. No matter how, but I win this fight.
Wish you all the best of luck.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the open workout continues here at Spitalfields Market in London, England. Again, all the action live Saturday night at the O2 Arena in London, England, brought to you courtesy of Mr. Eddie Hearn of Matchroom Boxing, and it's all live on Sky Sports Box Office and DAZN. Coming into the ring at this time, the undefeated challenger. This is a Nixon Hill fight, 13-0, 10 knockouts, 2016 Rio Olympian, fighting out of Hackney, London. Ladies and gentlemen, the Sauce, Lawrence Akoli. Akoli, with his head trainer Shane McGuigan, ranked number 2 in the world by the WBA.
Lawrence Akoli, former British and Commonwealth champion, he's now vacated those titles. Matt, it's fair to say he's come in for quite a lot of criticism, hasn't he, so far in his professional career, but he keeps winning and he keeps picking up the titles.
Yeah, I think the Matty Askin fight was the reason for a lot of the criticism, because it was just, it was a real
frustrating fight to watch, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a horrible fight, and I think most people felt that Lawrence Akoli was the one out of those two that was to blame for it. He did a lot of holding. He's very tall, rangy, wiry, he's awkward, he hits hard, particularly that right hand and he chops it down. A bit ungainly at times, didn't again, one of these guys that didn't have a lot of amateur fights yet, fought at a high level. He was an Olympian, as you mentioned there in Rio, but he's got a style that's very effective. He's wiry, he's strong, he's got a good jab, and that right hand in particular he hits quite hard with.
That is a dangerous right hand he's got there, Johnny.
It is, and it comes from such a distance as well, but set up well with the jab, and he can drop that shot comfortably and safely to the head or to the body. Coley is one of those fighters that when you talk to trainers, people in the know, people from the ESI where Joshua trains, they sing this guy's praises. They say this guy is the heir apparent. They can see potentially what he's capable of doing. The only thing he's lacking is his experience. So again, he's another fighter that's having to learn on the job. And having to learn on the job, he's going to come under criticism. The questions are going to be asked. And unfortunately, I get it because I was there, he's in the Hooligan club. He's an ugly fighter. I get it. I totally get it.
Would you have wanted to fight him?
I was the ugly fighter, so I get the pressure that he's getting. But he's got to be mentally strong enough to ignore that and develop his own style, develop his own success, develop his own rhythm, where people think, I get it now. I met the penny drop. He's going to come under a lot of criticism until he's found that his niche. But as far as I'm concerned, I think he's one of those fighters that potentially he'll move up to heavyweight and he can do it comfortably and compete with a lot of heavyweights.
Yeah, and you know the other thing, I think he's an improving fighter. He didn't have a lot of amateur pedigree fights, even though he was an Olympian and he had pedigree from that point of view. He hadn't been boxing that long. You know, we know the backstory, just got in the gym to lose weight. But in Shane McGuigan, I think he's made a good move. I think he's teamed up with a good trainer, someone that will look at him from the top to the bottom, from his feet, from where he stands, and it's a building process. You're only going to achieve, you know, you get 8 weeks together, you're preparing for that fight. You've only got so much time. There's only so much adjustments you can make. It takes time to go through that change. But I think in 2 years from now, if he keeps winning, he stays working hard, stays focused, stays dedicated, I think he'll be a different fighter. You see Shane McGuigan switching on the pads there, going southpaw, going orthodox. They know that he'll have done his due diligence, and he'll have thought of a good game plan, good tactics, and they'll have worked hard on things.
And they'll know the tactics he will be to getting close. They know he'll not be outbuilt to out jabbing, out right handing, out even footwork wise. They've got to look on what style he can bring to the table, and the style he's going to bring to the table is an attacking style. So that's what they're prepped for. So Coley's got to use his jab, use his height, use his reach, use that stiff jab to keep him in position, to aim the shots, set up the combinations. But the thing is it going to be an easy night for him to do that?
I think the long right hand down the middle, that's his signature punch, and I think that's a shot that he'll be looking to land all night long. But I think if Nagabo switches southpaw, that's when he will be particularly open for the right hand. But also, I think Coley's got to throw them uppercuts. Nagabo trying to slip and slide and roll underneath. He's got to try and time him, set him up with a jab, and look to land that right uppercut.
Well, if Lawrence Okoli can beat Ethan Garber on Saturday night, let's just put the win into some sort of context for you. He'll be European, British and Commonwealth champion in 14 fights. What kind of doors could that open up then for Lawrence Okoli? Yeah,
and I think that we have to remember that sometimes we can get too obsessed with the performance. Again, going back to the Matty Askins one, it was a very bad night for him. It was just a bad fight. It was a horrible fight. The styles didn't come together, and he came in rightly so for a lot of criticism on that. But you've also got to look at it. He's only had 13 fights. He's British Commonwealth champion. Now he's fighting for the European title. So the results, are undeniable.
Title to his CV.
All right. Well, let's hear from Lawrence now with Andy Scott.
Lawrence, you've done things the traditional way, Commonwealth, British, now a chance to win the European title. What would it mean to you to win that belt, and what have you got to do against Ethan Garber?
Yeah, it'll be good to win. I think it's just another step of my journey. It's the European title. I'll be happy to have it, but it's literally not a world title, so I'm not overly excited. I'm just ready to go in and do my job.
That being said, that you've got a very good high ranking with the WBA. That all goes away, though, if you slip up here, so I suppose you can afford no slip-ups.
Yeah, no, I don't anticipate a slip up. I mean, Garber looks like he's trained hard. He looks, pumped and ready, really focused. But ultimately, we're going to go in on Saturday. It's going to be a fight, and I'm going to win.
He's been standing where you were just a few minutes ago, and the obvious difference is you're about 5 inches taller than him. Height and reach is going to be a factor. 5 inches and more taller than me. It's going to be a factor. At your height, a lot of the time you are punching downwards on people that are smaller than you, but how do you cope with a smaller opponent?
Yeah, I mean, I've been sparring smaller opponents that are heavier than Ngannou. I've been doing it my whole career. I've always been a taller fighter, so, there'll be a lot of vicious shots coming in. I feel like, shorter fighters always seem to believe that they're somehow stronger or better punchers than me, but he's going to be in for a surprise when I start landing.
In your previous fight, it was a late noticed opponent who perhaps didn't come to win or with the most ambition. Perhaps we didn't see the fruits of the labour that you've been putting in the gym with Shane McGuigan. What sort of performance do you want to put on, and how have things been behind closed doors? I
mean, Shane came into my life at a time where I didn't know what up was up and down was down. It was really, really tough, and he came through and he saved me. And I want to give him the performance that he deserves. When I win this fight, no one's going to talk about Lawrence Okolie. They're going to talk about what Shane McGuigan did for Lawrence Okolie. So thanks, bro.
It's all tongue-in-cheek.
I wonder what you think about that. You came into his life. Did he not come into yours?
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm glad he's showing everyone his true personality, because that's what he's like behind closed doors. He's prepared amazing for this camp. He's been up Sheffield a few times, sparred some of the big heavies up there, and he's sparred Chris Smith, sparred Mikel Lawal as well. We've had some great work. Plenty of rounds in the camp. Technique-wise, I feel like it's a little showcase there today, but he's getting better all the time, and his potential is still another 50%, really. I mean, it's just going to take the right opponent to bring it out of us, and I think Ngannou is going to be the guy.
Okay, all the best on Saturday.
Do you know what, Johnny? How lovely is that to see that kind of side of Lawrence Okolie? Because we haven't seen that before.
Again, it's that character. There's a side to him that we just don't see, and he's one of those fighters you love or loathe. But I think now his character's starting to shine, and that's what will put him head and shoulders above the rest, because people start to warm to him. Everybody loves a villain in our sport, and he's probably played the villain's role very well up to this point, but now he's showing a side to him that he's a bit joking, not too serious. When the fight time's on, when he gets in the ring, that's when it's serious, and he's making up for it. He's doing well.
And he spoke about the relationship there with Shane McGuigan, and it seems to be quite a special bond they've got between the two of them.
Yeah, I think Shane McGuigan's a good trainer.
Yeah.
I really do. I think he's meticulous. I think he really thinks about not just 8 weeks, but where you're going to be in 3-4 years from now, and start building. So you can only achieve so much in 8 weeks. You've got to go through drills. You've got to unlearn stuff that become part of you, and you're changing style. It's difficult, really, but you can see the adjustments. And he's a tough fight here Saturday night. Another undefeated guy, European champion. He's from the Ingle camp. We know how awkward they can be. Johnny knows better than anyone. I'm not sure Ngannou going to be that awkward. He's short and stocky, but Okolie's awkward at times. He's wiry, he's tall, he's rangy, but the right hand for me is his signature punch, and he chops it down. We see him hitting the pads there. If Ngannou switches southpaw, he's going to be wide open for that right hand, and I'm pretty sure Okolie will be trying to ram that down his throat if he does so. But it's
an interesting fight.
It's an interesting fight, and ultimately, this is a results business. And the results say he's undefeated, he's only had 13 pro fights, and he's already British Commonwealth, and now he's fighting for the European title. So sometimes you've got to forget about the performances and the knocking. Yeah, there's areas he needs to improve on, but I think having moved with Shane McGuigan, I think that's going to happen for him now.
All right, okay, very much looking forward to that fight on Saturday night. Right, well, a man that's always got a thing or two to say, hasn't he, is, of course, Eddie Hearn, and he's with Andy Scott. Let's hear from him now.
I think he's right.
Eddie, with your promoter's hat on, just tell us why we should be watching this card at the weekend, and how happy you are to put on such a stacked card.
Well, I think it's fight of the year in Progress Taylor. I think it's card of the year. It might be one of the best cards I think we've ever produced, top to bottom. So many fights on the card that could individually headline events. Right, starting off with Conor Benn, got a brilliant cruiserweight title fight, Lawrence Okolie against Ngannou. You got one of the top lightweight fights we've seen in this country for a long time, Lee Selby against three-weight world champion Ricky Burns. Of course, you got Chisora against Price. Everybody's talking about, everyone's debating. And then Progress against Taylor, which I think is probably the best fight of 2019 so far. Unification, Scotsman against a loudmouth American who can really fight, can really punch. It's the final of the Ali Trophy as well, the Ring Magazine title on the card. Absolute non-stop action from start to finish. Really is the card of the year.
Yeah, can we get a few sound bites on each fight, really? Conor Benn, he's got a late change of opponent, and he said in the ring, I do try to box, and I do try to do what Tony tells me, but the excitement and the Ben in him comes out.
Yeah, we want him to box because we want him to keep winning, but the public love to see him fight. Just like his old man, he's cut from the same cloth. He's got a tough fight against Jamoy on Saturday night. You know, he's coming off a brilliant win, Jamoy, against another undefeated prospect. I think it was 17 or 18-0. And Conor Benn's stepping up the levels now. And 2020 is all about those big nights, domestic fights. You know, the fight with Josh Kelly, I think, is a mouth-watering prospect towards the end of next year. But a tough fight for Conor Benn. Tough because he does love to fight. And Jamoy is crafty, he can box, he can punch a little bit as well. He's been around, he's mixed at a very good level. And I think it's going to be the toughest fight of Conor Benn's career so far.
What about the lightweights in Lee Selby and Ricky Burns? It might not be a world title fight that awaits the winner, but they're both former world champions and there's a lot on the line.
Well, I think they've done that, haven't they? You know, Lee Selby's a former world champion. We saw him beat Yevgeny Gradovich at that very arena a couple of years ago. You know, Ricky Burns, one of the nicest guys in sports, one of the best servants to boxing, and of course a hero in Scotland, 3-weight world champion. Like you said, there's no world title on the line, but they've done that. Now they're fighting for much more. They're fighting for their careers. This is winner stays on. You know, like Chisora Price, the winner of this fight goes on and potentially challenges for another world title. The loser's done. You know, whether it's Ricky Burns or Lee Selby, the loser of this fight is done in her career. And I just can't wait to see it, because two great fighters. You know, Lee Selby coming up from featherweight, skipped super feather, had a good win last time out against Antoine Douglas. Ricky Burns looking great in the gym, full of energy, in great shape. It's going to be non-stop action.
I'll ask you for a very short one and then on the heavyweights, because you talked about the top of the bill. Very short one on the heavyweights.
No clue. Price inside for Chisora after every. I mean, that's the great thing. That fight can end like that, like a flick of a switch. And it's just a massive, massive all-British heavyweight fight.
Cheers, Eddie.
Johnny, we talk about having exciting cards to look forward to, but this is no exception, isn't it? He just mentioned there, Chisora Price. That is a fight that has got everyone talking.
He also mentioned the pressure that was on Burns. And I thought, you know what, to say that the loser's done, he's out of there. Talk about drawing the best out of somebody, because both of them are going to think, what am I going to do? I've got to go in there and give it my all. And that's a great subtle way of juicing up your fight to say, right, give me your best, because the loser's done. And Selby is probably thinking, you know what, I'm the best here. But I think these fights, you've got two former world champions that can fight. One's a great boxer, one's very, very fit and very determined, so he knows exactly what he's going to do.
See here. Lee Selby just getting in the ring with what Eddie just said there, Matt, about this is basically a must-win fight to keep your career alive for both fighters on Saturday night. With that comes a lot of pressure. Could be good pressure, could be bad pressure.
No, I think it's good pressure. It's both men are certainly fighting to keep their careers alive at this level. You know, whoever loses here, really, where do they go at this stage of their careers, at this stage of their life? That would be the end of the road, really. I mean, I'm amazed that Ricky Burns is still going anyway, you know, being a 3-weight world champion, and he's still got the hunger to prepare for these fights, to get down to Essex.
And he's still loving it.
And still loving it. It's an amazing, really. I don't know how he stays motivated, but, you know, credit to him. But Lee Selby, for me, I favour Lee Selby in this fight. I think him going up in weight has given him a new lease of life. We know he was struggling down at featherweight, and actually looking back on the loss to Josh Warrington, that loss looks better in hindsight when you look at how Josh Warrington has gone on since then. He wins against Frampton and even Galahad. So that loss against Warrington has improved in time, and I think actually going up the weight divisions will give Lee Selby a new lease of life. And
because it's quite a jump in weight.
It is, but I expect him to win. I think he's gonna. I think he probably needed to move up in weight. I think he was really struggling down at featherweight, and he's not a. You know, he's someone that gets better as the fight goes on, and when you're struggling for weight, you can't do that. So I actually think it was probably a good move for him jumping up 2 weight divisions.
Johnny, how do you think the styles will blend on Saturday?
Well, I think Ricky Burns was always an underrated good boxer. People didn't realise how good he could actually box, but he had a good engine on him. I don't think technically he's a better boxer than Selby, but he had a good engine. People didn't think he had that boxing ability about him. Lee Selby, I've seen him in our gym spar with Kid Galahad, and it's like a fast game of chess with these two. Smart, cunning, excellent boxing, and these kind of things that happen behind closed doors. It's impressive. You're really impressed with him. There's a lot more left with Selby, and especially when you get older. If you're a good boxer, you know, your timing goes a little bit, but he'll always be a good boxer. He'll always be a smart boxer, good footwork, good hand speed, good combinations. Ricky Burns will not outbox Lee Selby. He might outfit him, he might outbully him, he might out-wrestle him, but they'll not outbox him. So it's a case of who's got what left, who's the fresher of the two when it comes to it. But this kid can box naturally. That's what he does instinctively. That's his go-to. And so we'll see something. We'll see something. Even if it's not the best Lee Selby, we'll see the skills that he's got.
There's nothing to not really like about this fight, though.
Oh, everything to like about this. This fight is intriguing because Ricky Burns, I would say, I think he's overachieved. And look what he did when he overachieved. He became a world champion and did it well. Lee Selby, you expected him to do so well because he was an excellent boxer, and he still is.
All right, okay, well, that is just about it from us on our Facebook coverage. Make sure you join us from 6 o'clock on Sky Sports Mix, Sky Sports Action, Sky Sports Main Event, as we shall have more undercard fighters. And, of course, the main event fighters will be taken to the ring, which we'll see you at 6.
A monumental gamble, remarkable risk for huge reward, or ring failure on the starriest of stages.
It is a real 50-50 fight.
I'm confident in getting out there and getting the win.
We both have to win.
That's all I'm focused on just now.
Do you think this man can be intimidated?
Yeah, I think he can be. Yeah, I think he can be.
You think I'm intimidated right now?
No, right now, no. But I think he can be intimidated.
I can't be intimidated.
I can see right through your bravado.
You can't see nothing in my eyes. You see confidence in my eyes. That's all you see.
Okay.
Yeah, you gonna get it.
When it comes to fight time, I know I've put in so much work, so much dedication. This is the type of sport where you can put in all the work and one shot can change it. I'm blessed to be the type of fighter that I am.
Lawrence Holy! Massive power punches going in. Unbelievable! Right hand from Okoli.
As long as I'm switched on and I do the stuff I'm meant to do, these fights are already won.
Got him! Right hand on the floor. Another right hand driven through. This might not last much longer. It doesn't. Oh, that should seal it. He's in serious trouble now. Is this it? He's stopped. Big shots. He's dangerous like that. Oh, beautiful shot. And that looked a finisher.
London is a fight city and the boxers are in town ahead of the massive event this weekend at the O2 Arena. Today is the open workouts at the historic Spitalfields Market. The undercard have already impressed the crowd here this afternoon, and soon it will be the turn for the main event as fellow world champion Regis Prograis and Josh Taylor, plus heavyweights Dereck, Chisora and David Price all take centre stage. Hello and welcome to Spitalfields Market. We are just 3 days away from that bumper showdown at the O2 Arena. We simply cannot wait. Today though, as we've just mentioned, it is all about the public workouts. And here to cast their BDI over the proceedings, Matt Macklin, Johnny Nelson, good to see you. We've already seen some of the undercard take to the ring just a few moments ago. But what a mouth-watering co-main event we have. Prograis versus Taylor, two unbeaten southpaws, two titles on the line, and of course that prestigious Ali Trophy, Johnny.
We did the gloves are off with these two, which is available on demand, by the way. We did the gloves off with these two, and it was you could, both characters were very serious when it come to engaging with each other. They've got a bit of spite about each other, but they've both got a bit of cool about each other. I'm telling you, you're going to have two fighters that really believe they are going to win. I know that sounds really stupid to say, but when you've got two fighters going in there thinking, I can't see how you can beat me, they're the ingredients for a great fight. And I can see every reason why these two can pull it off.
All right, okay, well, let's get the rest of our proceedings this afternoon underway and hand you over to MC David Diamante for the introductions.
Ladies and gentlemen, like I said, this is a very intriguing matchup. 12 rounds at lightweight, 9 stone 9 pounds. We have Lightning Lee Selby, former champion of the world, and right now his opponent making his way into the ring from Coatbridge, Scotland. Three-time three-weight division world champion, 4-3-7-1 with 16 knockouts. Ladies and gentlemen, here's the former super featherweight, the former lightweight, and the former super lightweight champion of the world, the Rickster, Ricky Burns. Burns, face-to-face with Lee Selby.
As you can see, the difference between the two, and that is because Lee Selby has a little bit of steam coming off him, Matt, and that is because he's just done his workout. Ricky Burns is yet to do so.
That's exactly what I was just looking at, was the steam coming up his head. You see that you're in the cold and you come out and you're sweating, but yeah, he looked pretty sharp there, Lee Selby, hitting those pads, and let's have a look at Ricky Burns now. Don't expect him to look anything but sharp himself. Consummate professional.
Absolutely, and there's a lot to like about this fight, Johnny. Both fighters know it is a must-win fight in terms of where they're at in their careers.
Eddie Hearn put the pressure on both fights, and that's exactly what he said. Where does the loser go? There's no way for him to go. Ricky Burns and Lee Selby, both former world champions, and both bring something different to the party. This man you're looking at now, an underrated boxer. People don't realise how good he could actually box, and I think that's why a lot of the times he's been underestimated and beat a lot of opponents, because he has a good engine about him. So when he's in it, and when he's in the game, when you've realised you've made a mistake and realised he has a better jab than what you think, a better right hand, a better movement than what you think, it's too late midway through the fight. Now, these two know enough about each other. Lee Selby is a slickster. Lee Selby naturally boxes. That's what he is, a better boxer than he's a puncher. So Lee Selby knows with this man that's in front of him, he can box as well as fight. Can't box as good, but he can fight better. And Ricky Burns, he's an honest pro. He's a pro that appreciates everything that he's achieved in our sport. And again, Eddie Hearn said, where's the loser go? And how else can you motivate two fighters to want to win?
It's fair to say that Ricky Burns, Matt, he's done it all and doesn't really have to prove anything anymore. He's 36 years old, 51 fights, 43 wins, 16 knockouts, 7 defeats and 1 draw. When we were back in Manchester, when he fought on the Usyk Bellew undercard, the question that was posed to Ricky Burns in the fighters meeting is, what makes you still box? Why are you still doing it? And his reply was, well, I love it still. I've still got the passion. He still wants to be mixing at the top level.
Yeah, and I was amazed, Anna, to be honest with you. And I think I might have been one of the people that was firing that question and kind of coming back at him with the same question in a different way, because I couldn't.
You can't relate to it yourself.
I can't relate to it. I was just thinking, what is motivating you after becoming a three-weight world champion, having lost 7 times now. I thought certainly after the loss against Anthony Crolla, I thought that was going to be the end of Ricky Burns. And what a career he's had. The fact that he's still fighting, he's still hungry. I don't know what he's hungry for. I don't know what motivates him, but he's still here. He says he still loves it. And this is a tricky fight for him. At least Selby, very good boxer. I think Ricky Burns, what a lot of people have always mistaken and got wrong with him is they know he's tall, they know he's boxing, because he's kind of all smiley and happy and a bit baby-faced. They underestimate his toughness, his grit, and he can really dig in. He can do the 12 rounds, bell to bell. He's a really wicked body puncher, really dips to his left and drives that left hook to the body in. Hits a lot harder than people think. But you'd have to think, I just think, I can't understand that, what still motivates him. Having achieved what he's achieved at this age, at this stage of his life and his career, what still motivates him?
Well, he's at the stage, I think it's fair to say, Matt, that he only really wants the big fights, doesn't he? That's the only thing that's really going to get him up.
Yeah, I think if he lost on Saturday night, I think that certainly, definitely would be the end of the road. Then I think he would retire. It would be his last opportunity on this kind of platform at this stage, at this level. So I think that he would walk away if he gets beaten on Saturday. And the fact that he still loves it, he doesn't want to retire yet, so he's got a lot to fight for. Lee Selby, I think, could probably stand the last bit more. But that said, I don't think he necessarily sees it that way. I think Lee Selby is a must-win fight for him as well. So yeah, a lot of pressure on this fight, because whoever loses, it probably is the end of the road for them.
He seems to be a fighter as well, John. He doesn't age.
You know what also surprised me at the beginning of this, the height difference. And even though Selby's the one that's had to step up, he's the taller of the two. And again, I know, Matt, you touched on what is it that motivates you. That's the scary bit about fighters that don't need the money, that have achieved almost everything, but can still put themselves through a tough training camp to come back for more big fights. So then that's within them. That's naturally within them. So we'll always have that fight. And we still think we can fight now. We probably can't. But these guys are in a position to say, look, I want to do it. I'm boxing because I want to, not because I have to, not because I need to, not because I have no choice.
He's been out of the ring, Ricky Burns, for about a year. It was last November we saw him when he comfortably beat Scotty Cardle. Do you think that could have an effect on Saturday night? He has been out for 12 months or so.
He takes the pressure off. There's no pressure on him, so therefore he boxes when he wants. He doesn't need another paycheck. He thinks, right, I'll box today. Let's have it on.
All right, let's see what Ricky's got to say with Andy Scott.
Ricky, you said at this stage of your career, I'll only fight someone that fits the bill, a challenge that I can get up for. Tell us why Lee Selby ticks that box.
Well, Lee, obviously, he's a former world champion. Obviously, recently just jumped up to lightweight. Obviously, there was a couple of names mentioned for me and they fell through. And then, obviously, Lee was mentioned and we had sparred but years ago. We had sparred previously. He'd come up to help me out when I boxed Terence Crawford. So I know all about him. I know he's a good fighter. So I think the fans are going to be in for a good fight on Saturday.
Yeah, we hope so. Fingers crossed. I mean, just a question. You know, when you set out as a pro, I'm sure you wanted to win one world title. You're a 3-weight world champion. How do you stay motivated? What do you still want to achieve?
Do you know, I don't really look at things that way. Do you know, whether I was like fighting, I was just talking to Adam Smith there and they were talking about many fights and that I've had. But you know, for my first pro fight, even my first amateur fight, leading up to Saturday now, I've not treated it any different. I'm going out here, obviously, same intentions, out here to go in and get the win. Training and that just went perfect, same as always. So I always say the best man will win on the night, but I'm confident to get out and getting the job done.
We know from talking to other fighters that ring rust is always an issue, timing is always an issue. At 36, how much of that is staying in the gym with the young whippersnappers, the Conor Benns and the Joe Cordinas, and I suppose that's what keeps you young?
No, you know, they always bring out the best in me. And you know what I've always said, but if I ever thought I was on the slide, when I'm in the gym with all the boys that you've just mentioned, if there was ever going to be any slip-ups or anything like that, it would happen in the gym, so I would know myself. I can more than hold my own against them, and you know, they're always saying that obviously sparring with me is hard work and stuff like that, but I would say the same about all them. But no, I'm just looking forward to Saturday night now. Next couple of days, just chilling out, man, and down to business.
Wish you all the best.
Thank you.
All right, so that is the undercard fighters done for their public workout this afternoon. Join us after the break where the main event fighters will be taken to the ring. Stay with us. Hello, welcome to Spitalfields Market. It is all about our main event fighters from now on. Josh Taylor, Regis Prograis, about to take to the ring to do their workouts. Let's hand you over to MC David Diamante for the introductions.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to Spitalfields Market here in London, England for the open workout for Saturday night's incredible night of boxing action. At this time, it is time to bring in the main event of the evening, and it's all being brought to you courtesy of Mr. Eddie Hearn of Matchroom Boxing in association with Camosa AG and DeBella Entertainment. Sponsored by William Hill, StubHub, and JD Sports. And now, ladies and gentlemen, 12 rounds of boxing scheduled for the unification of the WBA, the IBF, the Ring Magazine, and the Muhammad Ali Trophy. Now making his way into the ring from New Orleans, Louisiana. He's a southpaw. He's undefeated as a professional, 24-0 with 20 knockouts. Ladies and gentlemen, the reigning, the defending, the undefeated WBA super lightweight champion of the world, Regis Prograis. Prograis.
This is a fight, Matt, that everyone's looking forward to. Two undefeated southpaws going head to head.
Two undefeated fighters, both in their prime, maybe not even in their prime, still improving, still getting better, hungry. I mean, that's a great thing about the Muhammad Ali trophy that the World Super Series has brought about. It's getting the best, fighting the best, and we're lucky to have it on Sky. It's a great fight. Two box fighters, they can both box, but they both like to sit in the pocket and trade as well. So I think we're in for a treat here.
A lot on the line, Johnny. 2 titles and the Ali Trophy as well. What do you think it'll come down to?
I think it'll come down, you know what, we've got the best, the 2 best in the division as far as I'm concerned.
It's number 1 versus number 2.
And you can't ask for anything more. And this man here in front, his backstory alone, you can understand his hunger, his drive, his ambition, even as a champion. And he probably thinks that Josh Taylor's up there on the balcony on our left. He probably thinks this man has not walked his shoes. And he doesn't really understand how tough this is going to be for him. Prograis can box, he can fight, he can dig in deep, and that's what he wants. That'll suit him down to the ground. Now, rumour has it one of these 2 fighters are struggling at the weight, and this week, and we'll see midway through the fight which fighter that is. And if it's right, I think that's when the turn of the fight, the tail of the fight, will tell itself in around 7 or 8.
Johnny, you did the gloves are off, as you mentioned at the top of the show, with the 2 fighters. At the end of that, who do you think had the edge? Who had the mental edge?
You know what? It was very even. Very even, like this fight is very even. Prograis, he just wants to get on with business. Taylor thinks Prograis trying to intimidate him, and Prograis smiles and just saying, you know what, you just don't know me that well. Taylor was the one who was a little tense. I thought with 2 weeks out, you know, at this stage, maybe it's just being around him that puts him like that. And I don't mean tense as in a nervous way. I mean tense as in an aggravated way, as if to say, I want to get at you. I don't want to do this silly stuff. He was the one that was getting a bit frustrated. He just wanted to walk out of the place and get it over and done with. Just watch it. Body language tells you so much about fighters. And you've got 2 fighters that are fully confident and have full belief in themselves and their ability and what they're capable of doing. Prograis, he's not going to show. He's going to show as little as possible until the bell goes, and that's when both these fighters turn into animals.
Well, I'm sure both teams are leaving no stone unturned, but Prograis, in terms of planting himself over here, he came over 3 weeks ago, Matt, in his 8-week. I mean, that's quite unusual to come over so early on. 12 of his people came over with him. They've set up in a few Airbnbs over in East London.
Yeah, I think that was a smart move, though. You know, you either come in 3 weeks before or you come in the week before. I think you go 2 weeks before, jet lag, you get caught, you lose a week. I think 3 weeks is good. You get over the jet lag, you get used to your surroundings, you make sure there's no issues with your weight. That was a smart move on his behalf. It shows you how committed he is, but that doesn't surprise me. I wouldn't expect anything else. You know, this is a lot on the line here, and you know, he knows how good Josh Taylor is. He knows, you see Josh Taylor there, he knows this is the hardest fight of his career. This is number 1 and number 2 in the division fighting each other. They're both undefeated. They're both in their primes physically, and I would even say they're not even at their primes. They're even getting better. Both are improving, but they're so evenly matched. Both slick southpaws that like to sit in the pocket and trade. That, you know, they can box. Technically, they're good boxers, but their spirit, they have fighting spirit. And this fight, I believe, will catch fire. I think it's going to be a hot-paced fight. I don't think this fight's going to disappoint at all.
Matt, as you said about Prograis coming over so early for a fight, for a fighter to do that, to set up more or less the main chunk of his training camp is for a big fight. in the country that he's fighting in. It shows confidence. It shows due diligence. It shows that, you know, I'm leaving no stone unturned. I'm going to make sure everything. He's comfortable fighting anywhere in the world. That's what he's found himself, and he's adjusted well. Jet lag's not going to be an issue. Conditions are not going to be an issue, and you're looking at a very confident champion here.
We talk about fighters that have that star quality, and Prograis and Taylor seem to be two fighters that lose that.
And then Prograis got a bit cool about me, something sinister about me, and I sensed that when we did the gloves are off. He wasn't getting into it. He more or less say, you don't know me well enough.
All right, well, Regis is with Andy Scott. Let's hear from them now.
Regis, your first official commitment of fight week, just how are you feeling? Is it nerves? Is it excitement? Is it a mixture of the two?
No nerves, all excitement. I can't wait. You see, I'm in here shadowboxing right now. I'm like, I'm excited. Just all excitement right now.
The big thing that we've picked up on is not all world champions, not all foreign opposition come in as early as you. 3 weeks, it's a long time to come in, but you seem totally relaxed. What was the thinking behind that?
That's the exact reason. I came out here 3 weeks so I could get relaxed, you know, so it's nothing foreign to me. The people's been wonderful over here, you know, the culture, everything has been real good to me, so I don't even feel like a foreigner right now. I feel like I belong here, so that's the reason I came over here early.
Yeah, sorry about the weather. Let's just move on to the fight. Between, you know, when you're talking about styles, two southpaws, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. You can only really control what you do, but what sort of fight are you expecting from Josh Taylor?
I mean, I think he's a real good fighter. He's a champion for a reason. You never know. I'm expecting the best Josh Taylor. You know, for me, I have in my mind that my 24 fights don't count, his 15 fights don't count. It's all about what's on the line Saturday night. That's it. So everything else, I'm not even worried about his past performances. I'm not even worried about my past performances. I'm only worried about Saturday night, and I know he's gonna come out. I'm expecting the best Josh Taylor. That's the only thing I'm expecting. He on his A game, the best Josh Taylor.
Two undefeated, young, hungry world champions. The titles are on the line, but there's also the Muhammad Ali trophy in the final of the World Boxing Super Series. What does it mean to have your name associated with such a prestigious man and trophy in his honor?
I mean, that's undescribable. You know, it's definitely undescribable. To be fighting for this, it's everything. You know, I seen the trophy yesterday. I didn't even want to get close to it because I still have to win it. You know, so I mean, it's a dream fight. You know, I kind of always prayed for this type of fight to happen, and now I have this. Most fighters don't get this type of opportunity in a lifetime. Some people fighting for 20, 30, even 40 years, not as a professional, but they've been boxing for 40 years, and I have this opportunity already in my 25th fight. So the word is undescribable. I can't wait.
He's here watching at ringside. He's going to get in and work out now. Have you got a final message for Josh Taylor?
I'm sick of talking about Josh Taylor. I'm sick of seeing him. I'm sick of talking to him. Of course, we got to see each other and stuff like that. But now, you know, I just can't wait I can't wait till Saturday night.
Yeah, and you've been accepted here. You got a good reception down at Tottenham Hotspur. But you will get booed on Saturday night just because you're in the UK. Is that something you're prepared for?
I'm definitely prepared for it. You know, that's why I came over here early, just to get used to everything, and I'm not worried about getting booed. For me, boxing is fun. This is fun for me. This is my home. So everything else won't matter at all. I don't care about getting booed.
We've enjoyed having you here so far. All the best for the rest of the week.
Ladies and gentlemen, one more round of applause for Regis Prograis. And his opponent now making his way to the ring. Also undefeated, also world champion, also a southpaw. His professional record, 15 wins, no defeats, 12 of them coming by way of knockout, fighting out of Prestonpans, Scotland. Ladies and gentlemen, the Tartan Tornado, Josh Taylor!
Just going back to Regis, just how cool is he?
You know what, I've got to pick up on it. When he said I don't mind being booed, I loved being booed. You know, when you get booed, it just pulls the best out of you. I box better away from home than I did at home. I totally get what he's saying. He's a very cool individual. The shorter of the two, the stock of the two, probably the cooler of the two, but let's see what we've got in front of us.
How does Josh Taylor look to you, Matt?
Yeah, cool, collected. It's fight week. You know, he's focused. you know, this is a promotional obligation to come and do the media, the public workouts, but he looks
At
good.
this stage, you just want to get it done. Is that the case?
Yeah, you're very focused now. All the hard work's done. You know, it's just about making weight, which, you know, he's not going to be worrying that today, but, you know, tomorrow he'll certainly be thinking about it. You know, but he's just staying sharp, staying switched on, staying focused, and also staying relaxed, which is, you know, kind of contradicts each other. You want to be focused, yet you want to be relaxed, but that's the key in boxing, to be focused and relaxed at the same time.
When you're trying to make weight, Matt, you don't really want to be in Spitalfields Market, do you? Because if you could smell the amazing smells from the food stalls around here, that's going to make it even harder.
You know, when it was fight week, by the Wednesday, I could smell dry cornflakes. I could smell running water, let alone those kebabs that we can smell here right now.
What kind of fight are you expecting? Do you think it could be drawn into a wall?
I think it's going to be a hot pace fight. I think it's going to be intense. I think we're going to have a mixture of boxing, fighting. They're both good, technical, skillful boxers with good boxing brains, yet they both like to sit in the pocket and trade off. They're fighting men, they've got fighting spirit. So I think we're going to have bits of both at different parts of the fight.
Where do you think Josh will see the weaknesses in Prograis, Johnny?
He thinks he's a better boxer, the two of them. He has the height, he has the reach. Even this alone, you see him actually dipping down a little bit in regards to the way he's shadow boxing. So it's like he wants to come down to to Prograis' level. I wouldn't do that. I'd box tall, box smart, and use the fast hands. I think Taylor, he really believes technically he's the better of the two, and it's a great drive here, number 2 to fight number 1, and so he's got that hunter's mentality.
Well, you know, in this fight, you're fighting for the ultimate bragging rights, aren't you? To be that number 1.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be a fight that has a few different twists and turns. I don't think either guy is going to dominate the other. I think it's going to, you know, one round Taylor will be on top. I think Prograis will come back, and then Taylor will come back, have to make some adjustments, maybe look at his tactics, come out with a different game plan. I think we're going to see a lot in this fight, and I don't think it's going to be straightforward. I think both men are going to have their moments, and I think it's going to be a close fight. I think it could go down to the wire.
With Prograis' team coming over so early, Johnny, with that 3 weeks, and Regis saying there in his interview that he wanted to adjust the climate, wanted to adjust to being over here in the UK, could that also be tactics to get into Josh's head, do you think, of just planting himself over here and say, I'm here, I'm ready?
You know, I can only go by experience, and I always find when I box abroad, which was most of the time to make a lot of defences or make fights, it just was, you got into a pattern of setting at camp there, getting comfortable in your surroundings, where you eat, where you sleep, where you prep. It's just feeling comfortable. And for him to take himself away from home comforts to make his home here and be comfortable here, he's committed everything. He's brought his wife, he's brought his kids here. You know, you don't do that half-hearted thinking I'll go in there and give my best. You go in there thinking I'm going to show them my best, I'm going to show them what I'm capable of doing. And I think that commitment alone tells me how confident he is in regards to this fight.
Yeah, I mean, all the fights I had out in America, you know, Golovkin, Martinez, I always went out there and did the big bulk of the training out in America. Well, for Martinez, I did the whole camp out there, because I just thought, you know, you're there, you got the sparring, you got the weight, you got the surroundings, you got, you know, no tricks, no problems last minute, because, you know, you don't want to get out somewhere and suddenly the final week of your fight, you can't get the right food, or you know, maybe you're carrying injury, you're struggling to get the physio. So it's good, I think, to go out plenty of time, bring the whole team with you, and just cater for everything.
Okay, well, he's just posing there for the pictures with the medias, but let's hear from Josh now with Andy Scott.
Josh, your first commitment of fight week, have you dared to dream yet to become unified champion of the world?
Listen, I've been dreaming about this since this came about, the tournament came about. It's all I've envisioned and dreamt about since I got word that I was coming into this tournament. So I can't wait. You know, I've envisioned this moment on Saturday 1,000 times over in my head, and I can't wait to make that dream become a reality now. So yeah, I can't wait.
Visualization's a big thing for a professional sportsman. When you think about the fight, when you put into practice what you've worked on with Shane McGuigan, how does the fight go?
Listen, I know for a fact I've got the ability to outbox him. I've got the ability to outfight him as well. I really do believe I've got it in me to stop him on Saturday. I do think I can get him out there, I really do.
Is the size of the event and the size of the task a big thing? It's by far and away the biggest night and the biggest stage of your professional career. I know it's perhaps different to boxing in front of a home crowd in Scotland, but with what's on the line, is it the biggest night of your career?
100% it's the biggest night of my career, yeah, 100%, but I thrive under the big lights and the big occasion. I love this. I know it's cheesy, but I really feel like I was born to do something like this, and I really do feel that this is the best event ever, and on Saturday night it's going to be my best performance, and I really, really can't wait. I'm really looking forward to it.
You seem in a very good place. He stood exactly where you were a couple of minutes ago, and he said, I'm sick of talking about him, I'm sick of looking at him, just want to get to fight night. You've got a few more media commitments yet, but is the feeling mutual?
Feelings mutual, yeah. I'm sick of seeing the sight of him myself and seeing him on social media all over the place, doing interviews, talking a whole lot of nonsense. I just want to get in there and pan his head in now, so yeah, I can't wait.
What's the big difference between you and him? Do you believe you're a better all-round fighter, a bigger puncher? What's the difference?
I believe I'm just better than him all-round, every department. Boxing, speed, I've got the same amount of power as him. We'll soon find out on Saturday, but I believe I'm better than him in all departments.
Just finally, the fans have come out here on a Wednesday night and it's lashing it down outside. Have you got a message for everyone that's come out today?
Yeah, just thank you to everyone for coming out. Appreciate you. We Scotsmen coming down here in London, you've come out to see me, so yeah, thanks for coming, and I won't disappoint on Saturday, promise.
Wish you all the best.
Good to hear from from Josh there. Hopefully that has whetted your appetite for what's to come on Saturday.
Will it be brutal, do you think?
You know, we're not having tea and cupcakes together. You know, it's a fight.
He's never fought anybody like me. He's never fought anybody that's going to hit him back, so you better be prepared.
They say to be the best, you've got to beat the best.
Excellent fight, you know, this is a... Hey, y'all gonna boo me? They can't mess with me, dog. Whoever they put in front of me, they gonna get the same treatment.
You're getting it. You never fought nothing like me. That's the difference.
I am the best, and I'm gonna keep proving it.
I can't wait. I'm really, really looking forward to that one. As am I about these two fighters that will be taking to the ring after the break. Two heavyweight, explosive veterans will be taking to the ring for their workout. Dereck Chisora and David Price coming right up. Hello, welcome back to Spitalfields Market. Well, a fight that has got absolutely everybody talking is, of course, Dereck Chisora versus David Price. We will be talking about that just now. They'll be coming to the ring in just a few moments. It is a fight that's got everyone talking, and it's a fight that no one can call who's going to win it.
I'm actually surprised Dereck's turned up, because it's a case of which Dereck's going to turn up this weekend. And he just, that's what's intriguing about him.
When you say you're surprised that Dereck Chisora, which was going to turn up, he only actually turned up. What time are we on now? 6:36. He turned up just after 1:30, leaving it to the last minute as always.
Well, you know, he did say he was the real main event, didn't he? But I don't know. I think this is a fight that you have to see. You know, Dereck Chisora has been one of the most exciting heavyweights of recent times. He's always in great fights. Even, you know, he's so tough. He's got great head movement. He sets that jab up, and the knockout of attack camp. You know, that was one of the knockouts.
I think this is a better fight than the Parker fight. Oh,
I'm
yes.
sorry, look at this. Dereck Chisora arriving with a puppy. Oh, does it get any better than that, Johnny?
That's just like mine, that is good life.
It's like Jeffrey, isn't it?
He's just like, walk off, G. Don't let you go.
You know, David Price can punch. We know that. He's got a great stiff jab. He's a big rangy guy. But Dereck Chisora hits so hard.
Well, do you know what? There is so much to look forward to in this one. Here's what's to look forward to.
Monumental gamble, remarkable risk for huge reward, or ring failure on the starriest of stages.
Well, they're both ready to go to show us their workout this afternoon, so let's hand you over to MC David Diamante for the instructions.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's now time to bring in the chief support for the evening on Saturday night. 12 rounds of boxing scheduled for the vacant WBO Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship. Now making his way to the ring, 25-6 with 20 knockouts, 2008 Olympic bronze medalist, fighting out of and proudly representing his home of Liverpool. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the former British, the former English, the former Commonwealth heavyweight champion, the lovable, hard-hitting scouser, ladies and gentlemen, David Price.
Well, David Price, Matt, he has come in at relatively short notice, but because Joseph Parker was due to be fighting Dereck Chisora, but through illness he's had to withdraw. That was a spider bite, but he was preparing David Price for a fight November the 23rd, so it was in the process. He was ready.
Yeah, he was in the gym anyway. You know, it's not like he's got to cut weight or anything. So I don't know. He lives in the gym pretty much with Joe McNally and Declan O'Rourke. Guys, good friends of his. Guys, he's known a long time. And I think that's been a key feature from him in recent times. He looks comfortable, he looks relaxed, almost did the pressures off him a little bit, and his last few performances have been good. The Dave Allen performance, he was absolutely over the moon. I remember seeing him after the fight. It was like he won the world title. He was so happy.
Well, we actually saw him, didn't we, in the bar afterwards, and he said himself it's the best he's ever felt, and he's really enjoying it. And we did see a different David Price. We saw a different David Price when he fought David Allen in the fight week, in the build-up up to it, and on the night itself. It seems like he has just taken the pressure off.
Well, I think the pressure is the thing that he could never deal with psychologically, that he used to struggle with that, and then he had the demons and the self-doubt would creep in, and the confidence would be on the floor, and you know, he'd fall apart in fights that he was actually doing okay in. So psychologically, the mental approach for David Price is key. More so, I mean, it is for every fighter, but I'd say even more so for him, because at times he's really struggled with it. But he's really bouncing into this fight. He's coming in off a career, possibly best performance against David Allen. So, you know, he's a big puncher, he's dangerous, but you can't paper over the vulnerabilities that he has. You know, he can be hurt. and he hasn't always had the best of chins. And Dereck Chisora will swarm all over him, I believe, and I can't really see more than anything. I can't see past that Chisora.
I think in my heavyweight division, I think when any heavyweight that hits you on the chin, you're going to go. I think that's not the major issue. I think this was more of a mental thing. I think David Price has been through every aspect of our fight game, and he was a hero. Dropped to zero. Exactly, and that's what he wants. And the reason I can emphasize with him, because now the pressure's off him, so whatever he does, it's for him. So the penny will drop eventually, and we're hoping it drops before he decides to quit. But I'm telling you now, when the penny drops, this guy will surprise everybody. But it's a case of which one will happen first. Will he quit first, or will the penny drop first? If it drops before, and I like this fight, he pulls out a vintage David Price that can box, that can bang, that people see in the gym, that put down Anthony Joshua back in the day. That fighter, if he turns up Saturday night, all of a sudden you're going to see a new blitz of David Price come through. But that's the big if. Can he pull it off? Is Saturday night his night?
It's such an intriguing fight, isn't it? Because both fighters, Dereck Chisora and David Price, both have been at the point in their careers where several times we thought, is this their last fight? And they keep coming back and keep delivering.
Yeah, well, neither of them are spring chickens, that's for sure. But Chisora probably got more mileage on the clock, but then David Price, confidence-wise, he's been so up and down, and but he's coming into this one in a fairly good place. But I think even from a technical point of view, he's a bit upright, not much head movement, and Dereck Chisora really bowls that right hand over the top. Carries a lot of power, and that was seen with a knockout in Takam in his last fight as well. Scored another big knockout. So I do favour Chisora in this, and I don't think that David Price is without a chance. I think he's in a good place. I think he's coming into it, but I don't even see the short notice an issue. I think he'll have been in the gym anyway and in good shape. So I think he's got a puncher's chance for sure, but I still favour Dereck Chisora.
But with David Price being the slight underdog, will that bother him? Will it?
No, not at all. I think once that bubble had burst with David Price and that public disappointment that he received, I think it was a weight off his shoulders. So now he knows he's going in as the underdog, and that actually makes a lot of fighters fight a lot better, because they know nothing's expected of them. The examples of fighters, Savannah Marshall, when she boxed great in the amateurs, when nothing was expected of her, away from home. This guy here we're looking at here, everything was expected of him for the first part of his professional career. Now he knows everybody expects him to lose. He knows everybody thinks he's got no heart, he's got no chin, but he knows differently. He knows what he's capable of doing. I agree with Matt. I think that you would lean towards Dereck Chisora because of past performances and because of the style of fight. But you cannot write this man off, because this guy can punch. This guy's a gym king, but he just needs to show the crown when he steps out of the gym.
So how does he deal with Dereck Chisora?
Use what he's got, use his attributes, don't try and fight him, keep him long, pop him, work what's in front of him, use that long jab, use that nice, smart, powerful right hand, bring it up the middle. Dereck Chisora will bob and weave and try and pressure him into working, try and pressure him to gas him, but he's got to use what he's got. And people that are in the fight game, you see him in the gym, you know he can box, you know he can punch, you know he can fight. He just needs to transfer that confidence, self-belief.
He's got to keep it long, and when Dereck Chisora does get close, he's got to try and time up. Don't stand there, don't let Dereck Chisora get off at close range with those big hooks, which we know he's very, very good at doing. He's got to keep it long on that jab, straight right hands. When Dereck Chisora does get close, time up.
How small does that ring look?
It's tiny. It's like when you're an amateur boxer, a schoolboy, and you're a tiny fight. It's like a telephone box.
All right, well, David's with Andy Scott. Let's hear from him now.
David, what an opportunity for you at 2.5 weeks' notice. Is that enough time? I know you were training for a fight, but you in a good place?
Yeah, I think it was 3 weeks' notice. I think it was plenty of time, because I made a point of staying in the gym after the last fight, purely because there's that much happening in the heavyweight division now. There was always a chance that this was going to happen, and I actually called it. Not for this fight, not for Chisora v Parker. I just called it that an heavyweight fight to fall through and I get a chance, and here we are. So I'm ready.
We didn't get a chance to talk to you in the ring after your last performance, but would you argue a career best performance, a career best win against David Allen?
Yeah, I'd say it was probably my best performance. I put everything together on the night, got the job done. Ticked a lot of boxes for myself. So, you know, it's a great foundation to build on, and it's, you know, I want to move onwards and upwards from that. Yeah, it was a real boost.
Yeah, was it not just from a physical point of view, but from a mental point of view? You said afterwards, as you were leaving the arena, almost like a euphoric moment that the penny had finally dropped. That's how you do it. That's how you use your skills.
Yeah, I mean, each fight's going to bring its different challenges, but that night I'd done everything I needed to do, and for that reason I was happy with my performance for the first time in a long time. It felt like I'd actually won a fight, and that's the drug of boxing, is the feeling you get when you succeed, and that was massive for me, getting that feeling back, and it gives you the motivation to go and get it again.
Your experience now, so coming in the ring against someone like Dereck Chisora, you probably sparred against people like him. Have you done any rounds with him in the past? What are you expecting from him on fight night?
Yeah, I think you know, I think everyone knows to expect from Dereck, and that he's going to bring the heat. He's going to put the pressure on. He's going to let his hands go. So I'm expecting the toughest fight in my career, but I believe I'm coming into the form in my career. I believe I'll have to be my best to beat him, but I'm confident I've got what it takes to make it on the night.
We've seen in the past that you do have genuine one-punch knockout power. Have you got the stamina, the engine, that if it does have to go the full distance, that you can do the rounds?
I believe I have. I do believe I have. I think the important thing for me is the way I pace the fighter. You know, I can't go with Dereck Chisora at his pace. That's just how it is. You know, it's not how I'm made. But if I can fight at my own pace, I can do it. So it's about fighting my fight on Saturday night. You know, and that's going to be another one of the challenges in front of me. But I look forward to it, because this is why I'm in boxing, to challenge myself against the top fighters, and this falls into that category.
You expecting any fun and games at the press conference? We have seen him in a press conference situation before do unpredictable things.
I don't think so, but we'll see. You know, but I don't think so.
Just lastly, then, the heavyweight division feels like, rightly or wrongly, feels like it's opened up. Do you believe a win here catapults you towards the top? And do you believe that you still have it in you to go on to bigger and better things?
Look, I've always maintained, despite my setbacks, that I'd love to challenge for a world title. You know, that'd be the pinnacle of my career. Winning it, obviously, I'm a realist. Winning a world title is probably out of the question at this stage, though. But you know, your confidence grows with each win, and if I win this fight, I'll be calling for the big names without a doubt, and expect the fights to happen. So you just take it step by step. There is a cliche, but it is literally one fight at a time. Got a monumental task in front of me on Saturday night. Come through this, you know, the world could be my oyster.
Yeah, you're only ever one punch away. I've done you with a cliche. Good luck.
Cheers, mate.
Had to finish on a cliche there, didn't he, Andy?
He's so smart, that guy, isn't he? He didn't do it in Spanish, did he?
David spoke there about taking it step by step. It is just about taking it one fight at a time, and that is something that's clicked in his head as well, that's taken the pressure off.
I think David Price is one of those fighters that's underachieved in his career. You asked me in the break, have we seen the best of him? I don't think we have. I think it's just a point of can he produce his best? So the David Price we've seen in the professional ring, he can box a lot better than that. He's just not being able to bring it to the professional ring. I don't think those chances have gone. I don't think those days have gone. And as he said, each win will give him more and more confidence, and he just needs a significant win. I know he felt like he'd won a world title when he beat Dave Allen, but in reality, he should have beat Dave Allen. Now, David Price of old should have beat Dave Allen in reality. So he wins this one. His confidence will fly up there to think, right, now I'm in this, I'm in the mix.
Well, Dereck Chisora looks like he's ready. He smiles all across his face as he gets set to get in the ring. Let's see what he's got to do. Hand you back to MC David Diamante. Oh, look at the dog. The dog's getting in there with him. Oh, very, very cute. Oh. That's just won the crowd over, isn't it?
And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome into the ring, 31-9 with 22 big wins coming by way of knockout. He's the former British, the former Commonwealth, the former European, the former WBO, the former WBA International Heavyweight Champion, fighting out of Finchley, North London, known as Del Boy. Ladies and gentlemen, Dereck Chisora. Chisora.
Give me the microphone.
You got the mic. You got the microphone.
No, you can't hold the microphone for me.
Go ahead.
Eddie, tell this guy to let go of the microphone.
Eddie, can he
Yeah. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, this is my new trainer, Steve. Everybody's been looking for Steve. His name is Steve. Oh. Johnny, leave my dog alone, Johnny. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm meant to be training for you guys, but I figured out no. So I'm going to bring Eddie up here quickly. Eddie, jump in. Eddie, please get in. David, get in. If you can guess David's outfit looks like what, yeah, what movie character, you win something big. What do you reckon about the shoes? The leather jacket and the black? Huh? Top Gun. You're close. Ah! You got it! Come up here, bring him here. Bring the guy with the ponytail. Did you say Terminator? Yeah, the guy who says Terminator, bring him. The ponytail. Wait, Nicole, where's the pens? Where's them? Oh yeah? Yeah, come. 1 second. Do you want your microphone back? Are you sure? Go on, John.
I got it. Ladies and gentlemen, Dereck Chisora.
So another public workout, and another time we haven't really seen Dereck Chisora do a great deal in the ring, but he brought his dog along. I mean, that's one way to win across a crowd, I guess.
Yeah, I wasn't really expecting much of a workout from Dereck Chisora, to be honest. I thought we'd see something that we're not usually going to see, so no surprises there.
Well, when I spoke to him, when I did an off-limits with him a few weeks ago, and I asked him who was training him, and he was quite mysterious about it, said it was pretty much David Hay. And as we've just heard there, he's just announced his new trainer, Stephen Broughton. We know that, he's not that well known, shall we say, but he's been working with Ismail Salas and, of course, Shane McGuigan the last 7 years. So Dereck's brought him into this camp for this fight.
Yeah, look, it doesn't really matter who trains Dereck Chisora. We're not going to see anything new tactically, technically, skill-wise. He is who he is. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter now at this stage of his career. Someone coming in that is trying to change him and adjust, it's just going to throw him off key. He's going to feel uncomfortable. He's going to get stuck in no man's land between styles. He is who he is, and no one's going to tell him at this stage in his career. All he needs is someone that, you know, he's comfortable with, that he knows his routine, that he knows what Dereck's his good points, his bad points, his strengths, his weaknesses, and he just needs to get in shape and to get some good sparring. You know, a new trainer's not going to make any difference to Dereck Chisora now.
Well, do you know what? There is only one way to watch this incredible night of boxing, a brilliant night of boxing, in fact, coming your way from the O2 Arena. But what a double-header. Undefeated fellow world champions Regis Prograis and Josh Taylor collide. Plus, we bring you the huge heavyweight showdown between Dereck Chisora and David Price. There's also a packed undercard as well, with coverage getting underway from 7 p.m. Saturday night on Sky Sports Box Office. Sky customers should go to channel 491 or Box Office to book this event. For all the information on all the ways to watch, go to skysports.com/box office. Virgin Media and Talk customers, please contact your operators. So that is it from us at the public workouts this afternoon. Tomorrow, it's all about the press conference, so make sure you keep across all our social channels for that. But join us on Friday for the weigh-in, the final time the fighters will face off before they face each other at the O2 on Saturday night. Sky Sports Action, Sky Sports main event, and Sky Sports Mix from 1 p.m. on Friday. We shall see you then.